What's up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take NBA DFS podcast. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I am joined once again by, I don't even know what to call you at this point. Patio Joe on the live stream today just completely just came in and ranted his way into making that intro weird now. The truest of true OGs is what I normally say. But I'm going to still call you that. I just have to remember to add another true for Joe. So the truest of true OGs would be Joe. But you're still the truest of truest OGs, right? So I can still Paulie D, ladies and gentlemen. You know what it is. You can find him on Twitter at Paulie with 8 Ds. Paulie, what's happening, bro?
What's up, man? Good night. Manimal night. Love it. We've been waiting a long time. Almost half a season for that night. We finally got it. He came through, as he usually does. And I need Noah Vonleh to do well for me and Dame Lillard, and I'm going to have a good night.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I got a team on DraftKings with those two guys. A little disappointed with the first half outing. I have a lot of the Kings, hoping the Magic can stay close. But Manimal was the highlight of the night. Mr. Kenneth Faried, baby. That was just a beautiful thing,
3%.
3%, baby. 3%. That was a beautiful thing. It was a good day. He was just awesome, man. Manimal Day. There is no day quite like a Manimal Day. You know what I mean? It just doesn't exist. There's a lot of these guys like Boban Day. All these things are fun, but Manimal Day, is something special.
Manimal Day, 11x, baby. Love it.
Yeah, definitely. But around the nation, there was a lot of good calls. I know Stevie was really big on DeRozan, who ended up on FanDuel 2 points shy of Harden, which was pretty awesome. So I saw a lot of the guys. I know everyone was on Shabazz Napier. The whole world was on Shabazz Napier. That was easy. But just in general, the whole team was just on point today, man. The whole team was on point.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was a very good day.
Yes, it was.
Screenshot City in about an hour.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm looking forward to that. So we'll see. But anyway, man, we have a 8-game slate tomorrow, which is pretty cool because normally these Tuesday slates have been small and really shitty. But we have 8 games to work with, man. So it's pretty exciting. We're at that point after the break now where the schedule kind of comes back into play. All these different things that we have to consider. So this is our first look. We'll do what we do as we always do, and let's get it rolling. Paulie, start us off looking at point guards. Stand above 5K on DraftKings. We will, we'll check on FanDuel too, make sure that nothing stands out. But in the meantime, Paulie, what do you see up top over there?
All right, let me get this screen on. We got Russ up top. I'm starting to like the way he's playing. He had a triple-double early last game, and if we get the value on this slate, I think I'm going to try to get Russ in. It's been a while since he's been the go-to guy for scoring in the NBA. So I'm sure if he's finally healthy and, going to start taking more shots, start taking over control from Paul George, last 3 games, he's taken, even the last 6, he's taken over 20 shots. Before that, it was 19, 17, 19, 13, 17, 15, 16. So now he's in the 23, 28, 20, 24, 22, 29. I think it's time to start jumping on the Russ train. We'll see what Sacramento does. It's going to be 3 and 4. They are kind of on the verge of a blowout tonight. So if their starters don't get a ton of run, I don't mind De'Aaron Fox tomorrow against Phoenix. Is Satoransky cheap enough now? I probably don't do it, but at 5-4 against Philly, I don't mind it. Not a ton, really, above 5K. I mean, we could look at Dennis Schroeder against Minnesota. I don't really love that. That's not something you're, excited for when Russ is around. Oh, Jeff Teague against OKC. His usage has been, huge. He's had back-to-back 40-plus point games. I don't mind him too, but I think Russ is like the star point guard so far.
Yeah, I definitely like what we saw from Russ in that game against Washington. I know his team lost, but it did seem like he was like he had more command and was starting to come back into that role that we're accustomed to seeing him in. So he stands out way above the rest. He's only 11-2 on DraftKings, which I think it's just really cheap for him. On FanDuel, he's only 11-8. I think he's cheap on both sites, and I think he does make a lot of sense here against Minnesota, who should be able to put up a pretty solid game here against OKC. Cat's going to have his hands full with Adams down low, but Adams is going to have his hands full trying to cover him on the perimeter. So I think that a lot of these guys are in good spots. I think the game should stay close, and Teague is one of the guys, right, that you want to attack anyway on Minnesota. So I think it is a pretty good spot for us, considering as I was listening to you go through the rest of the field, like how weak it seems. It does seem pretty weak. On DraftKings, it may not look as bad initially because you see guys like Booker and Oladipo who are multi-position eligible. But in reality, if you don't consider those guys and just considering the true point guards, it's not great. There's some good games like Ben Simmons against Washington. It's like sure, but he's 9-1 now. It's not like a slam dunk. Not when you're so close to Westbrook for a couple thousand more. It's like maybe if Joel Embiid or Butler, one of these guys, were out, maybe we'd be a little more excited about it. But I'm with you. There's not a ton. Kemba Walker against the Clippers, that's great. I love that game. But that's not necessarily the position that I think I want to attack the Clippers with. There's other weaknesses. So I'm with you, man. There's a lot of guys that are up in the air. Even De'Aaron Fox. I love playing the Kings. I play the Kings almost every time. But they've been weird on 3 and 4s and back-to-backs, and that's exactly what they're entering. So we don't know what to expect in terms of minutes. De'Aaron Fox did have a little bit of an injury at some point when they played the Lakers, and he hit shoulders with Kuzma. So there's a lot of question marks. It's interesting. Teague, I can get behind too. At 6'5", I can get behind that. Minnesota will be getting paced up. I think it's an interesting spot. Derrick Rose expected to be out, I believe. I can get behind that, but I don't see a ton that I love either so far above 5K. Take a stat of value town, Paulie. What you got down
there? I do expect the Knicks to get blown out, so I think we could see this extended Trey Burke run, especially if Nitty's still out. Kind of hoping he does some work tonight too, but if not, we'll run back to him tomorrow. With Simmons out, I think TJ McConnell is going to be a very good play at 4,300. If Jeremy Lamb is still out, we can go back to this Devontae Graham character at 4K. If Devin Booker's out, Jamal Crawford at 3,800. A lot of if these guys are out kind of statements. I think we can go to Malik Monk. A lot of maybes depending on who's in and out. But Trey Burke, Malik Monk, Jamal Crawford, Graham, McConnell. I think McConnell will be the big one if Simmons does miss.
Yeah, I'm with you. A lot of these, it's like there's a lot of questionable tags, and a lot of these guys in this range are just ready to pop. Just the minute we get one of them, the minute we get the news that somebody's out. One guy that was above 5K that I forgot to mention is Darren Collison. If he plays, I think he's a game time decision. He's technically questionable with a leg injury, but Collison should see a pretty good amount of minutes. Now,
and Corey Joseph is possibly going to miss too.
Right. I was going to say Corey Joseph may miss. Darren Collison may miss. So if Corey Joseph is out, then I like Collison a lot. But I think we also have to take a look, especially if both guys somehow get ruled out, which I doubt, but it's possible at Holiday, assuming he's still there. I know you had brought him up before the show. I asked you if it was Tyreek Day, and he threw in the Holiday card on me, and I thought that was pretty gangster. So depending on, that's a situation we're going to want to monitor real close. I'm sure it's a 7:00 game, one of the early games, so we should have that news, but we'll have an eye on that situation because if that were to happen, that could really, really open things up. I think that if Booker misses, I think Melton is definitely in consideration. I think he goes back to handling a lot of the ball, like the true point guard role. They're playing the Kings, very bad defensive team. They're going to get paced up. A guy like Melton, who does play defense when he's on the court, could find himself with some extra steals, all that good shit. So I think he makes for a decent punt on both sides. But at the end of the day, like you said, man, a lot of this stuff is going to depend on injury news. So we're going to have to, once again, it's what the NBA is, baby. Down to the grind down to the last second. And if you play on DraftKings, you literally grind to the last second of the fucking
the last lock.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Move us over to shooting guards, Paulie. What you got over there, man?
All right. Brad Beal seems to be in a good spot. We've seen shooting guards kind of go off against Philly most of the season at 8-9. I don't think that's really a problem. He'll probably be in the 9s soon. He's closer to 10K on FanDuel. If we got those guards out for Indy, I think Victor Oladipo would become interesting. Jimmy Butler, if Simmons is out at 7-5, could definitely become in play. Andrew Wiggins finally had a really nice game against the Lakers. I could see him doing well against OKC. JJ Redick probably steps up if Simmons misses. I don't mind that. There's actually a decent bunch of plays in this level, like all the way down here to like 5-5 at Redick, or all the way up top. Well, not all the way up, but down to Brad Beal. Those guys are all kind of interesting, and the who's in and out will kind of dictate who becomes a better play.
Yeah, this is a much more loaded position in my eyes, especially on DraftKings when you see guys like Jimmy Buckets sitting over here. Is Jimmy Butler shooting guard on FanDuel, or is he small forward?
Shooting guard.
Shooting guard. Okay, so over there it's just as loaded then. Yeah, a lot of good options. Bradley Beal, like you mentioned, this is like a nut matchup on DraftKings. He's only 8-9. He's still the second highest player over there under Steph Curry, but he's only 8-9, so it just seems really cheap, especially if we do get a lot of value to open up. Philly's been terrible against twos. Bradley Beal's been playing really well lately. Pace up spotted, and I say pace up because Washington is playing a little bit slower now that ever since John Wall's been out, they've been playing a little bit slower. So I do think that if you recalculate it from a recent basis, you would see that Philly should actually be pacing Washington up a little bit, even if it may seem like a pace neutral kind of deal. So I do like Brad Beal. FanDuel he's 9-8, but you're always going stars and scrubs. You're always kind of overpaying for dudes over there, so I think it's still fine. I think that we got to consider Booker if he plays. Although at this point I'm kind of hoping he's out, so we can load up on you know who. Oladipo at 8-4 is in play. Cleveland and these guys and the Pacers have played. They've played pretty close games for the most part. I think it seems like every time I don't play this game, I get hurt by somebody. And Oladipo is just chilling there at 8-4. Massive upside against one of the worst defenses in the game. Buckets is back. 7-5 if everybody's healthy. I don't know, but Wings have done really well against Washington as well. If we were to, it's going to be the front end of a back-to-back, I think, for Philly. So if Embiid or somebody were to sit in anticipation of that because Butler's expected to return, then I would like Butler a lot more. So I'm with you. A lot of these things kind of pertain to injuries and what could potentially open up now that we have a lot of back-to-backs and 3 and 4s and all that good shit. One other guy I'll mention here is Lou Williams. I think in tournaments he's always in play. He's 6'8 on DraftKings. We like Wings against Charlotte. Lou is one of the better ones you'll find out there offensively. So tournament only kind of thing. It's always tough to play Lou in cash unless he's extremely cheap, and he's 6'8. It's not bad for tournaments, but it's definitely too high for cash. Paulie, take us down to Value Town. What you got down there?
All right. I think DeAndre Bembry, this guy got 3 fouls in the first quarter or first half last game, barely played, and then still got to like 23-ish in the second half. So as long as he stays out of trouble against Toronto, I like going back to him. He's got that increased usage with both Prince and Bazemore out. If everybody is like, if he's in, if he's out. If Booker's out, I think we go to Kelly Oubre on Phoenix against Sacramento. With Simmons out, we're going to be interested in Korkmaz at 3-8. If those guards are out for Indianapolis, Tyreek Evans at 3-6 is going to be interesting. That's probably it. I don't see anything really, really cheap.
Well, we know the top was fairly loaded. Loaded enough, especially if we do get information in favor of those guys. I agree with you with the guys down low. It's not pretty. It's not really a ton you feel comfortably. Even McConnell on DraftKings is up to 4-3, which like still is decent. If like certain people were to be out, it would still be decent. But it's like you like it's like a security thing when other guys are out and he's like 3-8, 3-9. You just prefer that situation. Yeah, there's really not a ton to love here. If Booker is out, you could look at a guy like Kelly Oubre. He didn't play a ton of minutes, even though Booker barely played in that last game, so there's definitely risk here. But they do seem to like try to go to him when their offense needs a spark. It's a pace-up spot. Maybe he falls into some peripherals at 3-9 on DraftKings. I don't mind him, but I agree with you. This is not a position that looks very nice. Probably one that on FanDuel you may want to consider making one of either double pay up or consider making one of consider the opposite and trying to get like your drop score from here or something. Just drop all the way low and just like if you like your other punts, but maybe not a bad idea to pay up at both spots. Move us over to small forward, Paulie. What you see over there?
All right. Yeah, like I said, I think it's time to start going to Russ instead of Paul George at 10-3. I'm gonna take a look tomorrow at Kawhi, how he's done coming off like a rest game and see. I mean, I don't mind him against Atlanta. I don't know if I'm confident enough in Atlanta to keep it close to go there, but I mean, it's a phenomenal spot for him. TJ Warren, if Booker's out at 7-1, he will certainly be like a core play tomorrow. Maybe Kevin Knox against Golden State. He's a young guy that they could just give a lot of run to, even if they do lose by like 100. And I think that's really it. Kind of weak position.
Yeah, I think that Tobias Harris and Gallo could be interesting. One of those two. I think I kind of like Harrell a little bit more, who we'll talk about at power forward. But those guys could be worth taking a look at just because of the game. It should be pretty fast paced. Not a lot of defense being played. I think that TJ Warren, like you said, man, like if Booker's out, we're just rolling there. Especially with the way the Kings play in 3 and 4s, where they play funky rotations and all that. Like we saw as soon as Booker went, like TJ Warren, who was like having another terrible game, just flipped the switch at halftime and it was just over. It was just everything ran through him. And in a pace-up matchup on FanDuel, TJ Warren is only 6'2". He's 7-1 on DraftKings, only 6'2" over there. So, yeah, that'll be something that we want to get a piece of if Booker's out. At this point, like I hope Booker's out. When they're all in, you got to guess which one's going to do it, and it gets it could be a fucking headache, especially against a team like the Kings where they're all in a good spot, and it's up to you guessing which one's going to go off. It's like it's nice when one of those guys are out in this kind of situation, as long as the game can stay close, which I think it should. I do like Warren a ton, so we'll have to be ready. I like what you said about Kevin Knox as well. They let him play. They let him play in blowouts. Like, and they're on the road. It's maybe a 3 and 4. I know it's a back to back, but he's young. They're trying to get him the experience. Like, why not do it against Golden State? Like, you want to get this kid some experience. Like, let's do it here. Take us down to Value Town, Paulie. Oh, yeah. One other thing I'll mention. If Bagley was back today, and if Bagley were to sit for any reason tomorrow because it's a back-to-back and he just came back and they said he's going to be limited for X amount of time, then I think Bielitsa would be interesting, depending on how many minutes he played tonight. I have no idea. All I know is Orlando is getting their teeth kicked in, so I'm assuming that the starters aren't going to play much at this point. But, Paulie, take us down to Value Town.
Yeah, so Cedi Osman getting big usage with that Cleveland team. I don't mind him against Indiana. Josh Okogie getting good usage. I could do that. Love the way Norman Powell's been playing, but I don't think this is the time for him. With Simmons out, Wilson Chandler, who did go through practice today, should play. He's 3-8. I don't mind that. And lastly, Kevin Huerter he's probable, but he does have an injury designation. This is probably Vince Carter's last game in Toronto. He's 3-2 for Atlanta. I could see him getting a ton of time and having one of those kind of like, farewell tour games in Toronto where, was his home for a very long time, his first team, all that. So I don't mind Vince at 3-2, especially if we get one of these guys like Huerter out for Atlanta.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, this is going to be another one of them things, man. We're just waiting for news. We know Rodney Hood's out. We could take a look at a guy I think that would probably affect Alec Burks the most. But, yeah, that's right. Anyway.
Yeah. But Seti too. It helps Seti if he's out.
Yeah. No, it does. It helps him. I think Wilson Chandler, if one of those Philly guys are out, could be into play, assuming that he comes back. It looks like he practiced, but power forwards have done well against Washington. We'll have to see if Otto Porter's coming off the bench or not. But at 3.8, wouldn't mind him. Although I would probably prefer someone to get ruled out because I'm sure that somebody somewhere is going to get ruled out, and then there's going to be a guy around his price that's going to be a better play at that point. If Collison and all those guys do miss, I don't mind taking a chance on Tyreek Evans. I think I would like Holiday more, assuming that he would slide into that role. But I do think the second unit at that point would be a little more open for Evans, especially if Turner is also out. I think he would have pretty much the whole second unit to himself if Sabonis and Holiday or something or some combination of backups were to then be moved into the starting lineup. So at 3.6 on DraftKings, I don't mind him as a punt, but we'll have to, again, it's tough to say which one you like more when, a little bit of news can sway you. So let's move it over to power forwards. Paulie, what you see over there?
Yeah, I mean, at the top, none of these guys interest me. I think Sabonis, the first guy, if Miles Turner is out, but he's getting up there now, back again at 74. John Collins is 6'9". I can get behind that for sure. Either one of these forwards for Toronto is in a good spot, but they're a little priced up because of, the last few games without either Lowry or Leonard. I don't know if I think that Atlanta's really going to hang in this game. Montrezl Harrell, as you mentioned, that would be interesting at 6'2" against Charlotte. They just have no size, and I could see this being a spot where he goes off. Last game, they kind of didn't give him the minutes because it was Polish Hammer night, and they gave Gortado that minute. I think I'd go back to Larry Nance at 5'8", although with Tristan back, it's not as obvious or, definite that he has a good game. But still, I think if he starts, you can try that. Otto Porter, I'm going to like. He went off for us yesterday. And, I think that it's not a matter of not too long until he gets back into the starting lineup. And even if he doesn't, he's going to play starters minutes. He played 30 minutes last game. I don't see that going down. And that's probably it. I mean, maybe Marvin Bagley, if he's going to play tomorrow at 5K, I could see that game blowing out. Depends what he does tonight. But not all too much at power forward.
Yeah, I think we talked about a lot of these guys already at small forward. Like you said about the Siakam Ibaka, the matchup is good. Just concerned about potential blowout and concerned about them being overpriced, like you said, considering Lowry and Kawhi should both be back, which would in turn lower both of their usage rates. Montrezl Harrell right now is probably my favorite at 6'2". Like you said, the bigs, against Charlotte, it just seems like a better situation for him where I think Gortat, it was more circumstance. Over the last couple of nights, it was just kind of his thing, and he was doing really well against Ayton against the Suns, and then it was Polish Heritage Night. He had said weeks before that how excited he was for Polish Heritage Night. So I think now we're back to reality, and Harold does see an uptick in minutes. I think he has success against Willie Hernan-Gomez on the second unit, and even beyond Biyombo. I really don't. Neither of those guys are going to stop Harold, so I do like him a lot at 6'2". After that, I think that, like you said, what's his name? Otto Porter, man. He was good to us last time. DraftKings didn't even bother to raise his price. Let me check if FanDuel did. I would think FanDuel did because he was like 4.9. What? They didn't even do it. He's 4.9 over there too. Wow. Yeah, Otto Porter. He's coming off the bench right now is actually better for him, man. He's coming off the bench. He's nice and rested. The game's going. It's got a flow, and he's taking all the shots he wants to do. So it's like, he's getting all the shots he wants to take. So it took 17 shots. Like, he shot 7 for 17. It took 17 shots. You know what I mean? Like, we could work with that. He had like six rebounds, a couple of assists. Like, it looks good. The price is still low. Power forwards in general have done really well against Philly all season. And, yeah, I like that, man, on both sides. Otto Porter will probably be somewhere in some of these articles. But we'll talk about that on a live stream tomorrow for the members of the nation. Take us down to Value Town, Paulie. What you see down there?
Yep. Again, if Booker's out, Josh Jackson 4.9. That'll be a pretty solid play. With Minnesota, new coach, they just got rid of Tibbs. We don't know who's going to play what. You got Taj at 4.6, or you can take a stab at Sarek at 3.9. We don't know what this new coach is going to do with the minutes, but worth taking a risk, especially on a FanDuel if one of these guys are really cheap. Um, Man, I love the way Derek Jones Jr. has been playing. We see who's available for Miami. If there's any chance we think he can get minutes, Denver on a back-to-back on the road, I have no problems going there. If Miles Turner's out, Kyle O'Quinn, 3,500, power forward eligibility, that would be real attractive. And then, I think we could go to Harry Giles at 3.2. Maybe we get Bagley ruled out. We'll see who's available for Sacramento. They have done these scheduled loss games, and they play their second unit real heavy. He's 3.2. I could do that as well. Mario Hezonja's 3,200. He's getting good minutes tonight, doing well. I expect the Knicks to lose by a ton tomorrow, so we could go to him for value if we think he's going to get a similar amount of minutes. And I think that's it. Everything really relies so much on who's available tomorrow.
Yeah, you know who's interesting tomorrow? A guy that I have never really been on, but Luke Cornett's kind of interesting tomorrow, right? At 4.6, in a game we think he's gonna. First of all, he's gonna start, and Golden State have been really bad against centers. He's not gonna really he's not gonna go crazy and keep him in the game. They're gonna get blown out, and then he's gonna probably play in blowout run. They're not gonna play Cantor in blowout run. So, I think Cornette at 4.6 is kind of this might be a spot where. Maybe I for the first time ever this season play this guy. It's burned me a couple times, but for the most part, I think we've been pretty good staying away from it, or at least we've had pivots that did better, so we didn't need it. And now that everybody's kind of off and away, maybe we hop back here and just hope he gets some extra run on the blowout. I can dig it. If Turner's out, our boy Kyle O'Quinn, 17 minutes against Toronto, and he did the dirty in those 17 minutes at mid price, went for 29.75, doing the dirty all over the place. You got Rashawn Holmes and some of these guys that you can always take a chance on and flyer with. But aside from that, I'm with you. I want to see some injuries. I want the slate to open up. Give me some direction. It's am I going to play these guys over Otto Porter, over Harrell, some of these guys we talked about? Probably not.
Yep.
Centers, Paulie, all the way through. What you got?
All right, let's see what we got. Embiid with no Simmons against Washington, absolute smash spot. He'll be one of the top studs I try to get in, whether Simmons is in or out. Big usage for Towns, but I don't think I go there against Adams. I think the rebounds could be down. DeAndre Ayton against Sacramento. If there's ever a spot for him, this is it. He's 8-1 on DK. Not easy to pay that, but very, very good spot. Could do Steven Adams at 7K against Minnesota. Hassan Whiteside against Denver at home. I think I could do at 6.6. Good spot for Willie Cauley-Stein at 6.3. This bunch. I'd totally do Tristan Thompson at 5.9. Enes Kanter at 5.5. He's on the second unit, back in good graces. He's doing well tonight. Got to see if I think he'll play in blowout run or not. Then we got the Bismack Biyombo GHG. They're $100 apart on DK. One of those guys, whoever, I don't even want to say whoever's starting, but one of them will probably. Right now, I kind of lean more towards Hernan Gomez because I don't see them needing Bismack defensively. But one of those two. Alex Len could be good at 4.4 against Toronto, who've been getting killed by centers, and Len's been getting good minutes. And I think that's it. But a lot of options all the way up and down at center, as usual. You're muted.
Damn. Yeah, man. If Embiid does play, phenomenal spot for him. DeAndre Ayton is 8-1. I don't like what I saw when Warren kind of took over. So to me, I kind of want Booker in the game to take Ayton. I know that may sound it's an awesome matchup, so it's still worth looking into. But the price is up, and I didn't like the fact that he kind of stopped producing when Booker. That second half was all Warren. Ayton didn't do shit, and he really hasn't been all that aggressive lately, and that worries me. But this is a really good spot against the Kings. Yeah, there's a lot to like here. Centers have been going off against Denver. Capella just beat the shit out of them today. I think the Whiteside Bam situation, if you want to try to figure out which is which, is in a really good spot. Cauley Stein, I wouldn't mind at 6-3, except for the fact that they have been weird with their schedules. I think that Patio Joe said he watched the beginning of the show. He just texted me. He said he saw the beginning with the truest of truest, and et cetera, et cetera. And like you said, the Biombo Hernan Gomez situation, one of those guys has been smashing. So we want to pay attention. Both prices are kind of up. DraftKings, most likely, I'm assuming that on FanDuel, they're both at that point where neither of them are really in the mix, right? Let me just check. 4K for Biombo, so he's a viable punt. Hernan Gomez is 5-1 still, so probably, prefer what's his name if you're just going to punt it. Yeah. But, a lot of great options top to bottom, man. It's going to be an interesting slate. We'll do this again tomorrow after we've done some research on the Y stream. Take it from there. See what opens up. Nation, those of you who listen to the podcast, if you're not a member, you might want to get in on this, man. Kenneth Reed.
Might want to.
Flame City. It's fire. The nation is heating. I mean, the nation was there. The nation is heating. You could feel it kind of just bubbling. You know what I mean? Bubbling.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it for the position by position breakdown. Don't forget, guys, check us out at YC.com for more fire content. Come hop on with us. Check out our content for tomorrow's slate. Get a day pass if you were not already a monthly member or higher. You'll get access to all of our NBA content for a day. You'll get the articles, the cheat sheets, the live streams. The only thing you won't get is the Slack chat. If you want the Slack chat, which is where our members are going to be breaking it down, they're in there right now, probably half sweating, half breaking down tomorrow. And they'll be breaking it down all day. If you want to get in on that with the nation and grow with the nation, you got to be a monthly member or higher, and you'll get access to our Slack chat. Paulie, let's do some. Real quick. PGA is this week, guys. PGA was really, really good for the Wide State Nation last year. Our boy Cash is still doing the PGA content, and this time we got a new addition to the squad. We got Mr. Brewmedic 47 who does our NHL stuff. He is also extremely good. He's actually the one that Cash usually they would be talking to anyway before Brew came aboard. So I think that the golf package is going to be awesome, man. Both of them dudes doing an article. I think Brew's doing Cash and DFS is doing tournaments, and then they're doing a Y stream on Tuesday nights. So make sure you check out the golf package. The season pass is up. We're doing a sale right now. You can get it on the cheap if you go to the Wise Take Twitter at Wise_Take. You'll get all the details. It should be up there. But Paulie, do some top threes, and we'll get up out of here.
All right.
Top 3 point guards, brah.
Yeah, give me some Russ. Give me some Jeff Teague, and give me TJ McConnell, assuming Simmons is out.
I'm going to go with Russell Westbrook. I'm going to go also with Jeff Teague. And then I'm going to assume Booker is out, and I'm going to go with Melton. Oh, you know who we didn't talk about? Well,
Who?
You might have talked about him. I may have just not been listening. But if Booker's out, Josh Jackson will probably play a shit ton.
Yeah,
He's the one who really
I talked
saw.
about him.
You did, okay. I figured you did when I said that, but you know what I'm saying. All right, yeah. Shooting guards.
Brad Beal I like up top. Not a ton of spend ups that I love on the slate outside of him and Embiid and Westbrook. So he's definitely on the list of guys I'm going to try to get tomorrow. Andrew Wiggins at 6K against OKC I think is a good spot. And give me DeAndre Bembry for value.
I'm going to go with Brad Beal, Victor Oladipo, and Lou Williams. Small forwards.
If Simmons is out, Jimmy Butler, TJ Warren, if Booker's out, would be one of my favorite plays on the slate. And Otto Porter.
Yep, for sure. Otto Porter. TJ Warren, Otto Porter, definitely my 2 favorites right now. And I will throw in, depending on how many minutes he's played today, Bielitsa. If he only played like 20 minutes, then I'll go with him because I think they would give him a run the next day. If he played 35 minutes, then he's probably not playing much today. But the game's like a 30-point game right now, so I'm assuming he didn't have to play much. Power forwards.
Kylo Quinn, if we get no, what's his name, Turner. This is an ugly position. John Collins and boy, ugly. Josh Jackson if there's no Booker.
Josh Jackson for show. Let's go with Montrezl Harrell for show. Let's go with use that guy. Made a mistake there.
Yeah, it's ugly.
yeah. So let's go. I feel like I used a lot of these guys. That's the problem. That was the issue. I guess I'm going to have to go with Montrezl Harrell. I'm going to have to go with Knox and Cornette. There you go. Go Cornette. Use that sucker. But I think you said somebody that I really liked, and I just totally, right after you said it, I immediately forgot who it was. But you said somebody that in my head, I was like, that's a good one. And then it was like, oh shit, it's my turn. And then it left my brain. And I was just like, oh shit, what was it? It's just like, centers.
Embiid, Hassan Whiteside, and Willie Hernangomez.
Yes, Joel Embiid for show at top. Let's go with... I'm going to go with Willie Cauley-Stein, hoping that he didn't play a ton of minutes today. And then let's go with Hernangomez because...
He's only played 17 to this point, Cauley-Stein.
He's got like 29 DraftKings points. He's only played 20. Killing me, Smalls.
Yep.
Killing me, Smalls. That's gonna do it for the Wise Take DFS podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up, that like button. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, notifications bell, so you're notified whenever we go live. If you're watching us on Facebook, give us a like and a share to support the Wise Take Nation. If you're watching us on Twitch or Twitter, give us a follow, give us a retweet. If you're listening to us on Podbean or iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. All these things really go a long way with the nation, really help us out, allow us to keep going, doing these shows for free for you guys every night. So show some love. We appreciate it. Paulie, anything in closing before we get out of here?
No, just check us out. And Manimal Night was glorious. Be Screenshot City soon, and we'll find some new ones tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For Paulie D, for myself, the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, good luck.
Yes.